It's a beautiful world we live in, and nature is filled with wondrous things. Perhaps the most wondrous creations of all are children. Childhood is a special time, carefree, inquisitive, protected. A time of exploring, laughing, and running free. Health and happiness should be every child's right. But unfortunately for some children, from the moment they're born, they endure pain and suffering. Pain and suffering in such large, prolonged doses that life becomes unbearable. These are children afflicted with Epidermolysis Bullosa, or succinctly put, EB.
Can you hear the prayer of the children on bended knee in the shadow of an unknown room? Empty eyes with no more tears to cry, turning heavenward toward the light.
EB is a severely disabling and life-threatening disease of the skin. It affects the connective fibrils between the two layers of skin. It's like the glue that holds the skin layers together is either missing or dysfunctional. So the skin tears or blisters with the slightest provocation. How serious can this be? Try to imagine a child with painful wounds similar to burns covering most of the body. However, unlike burns, these wounds never go away. EB children cannot roller skate, ride bicycles, or play sports because the normal play of children causes chronic wounds. Everyday activities such as walking, bathing, or even enthusiastic hugs can cause intense pain. For EB children with the most severe forms of this disease, there is little hope for life beyond 30 years. This rare genetic disorder affects all ethnic and racial groups. Estimates indicate more than 100,000 Americans suffer from some form of EB. The president of the EB Medical Research Foundation is Lynn Anderson. She and her husband Gary lost 2 children to this terrible disease. Chuck died at age 27 and Christine at 14.
I don't know of any disease that children face that causes such long-term suffering. You know, you have children that have things that take their lives, but this disease, they suffer emotionally and physically for a long, long time before they either die, and actually in the severe forms that's what happens. Any kind of a pulling action or rubbing action will cause blisters or open wounds. So as a result of this, the children have open wounds all the time, and they can turn over in bed at night and make a wound on their face from rubbing it on the pillow. It's so sensitive. And they have chronic anemia. Most of their calories go to skin repair, and so they have malnutrition, growth retardation. Chuck and Christine never weighed more than 84 pounds. And they have deformities of the hands and feet. There's a scarring or a webbing between the fingers that occurs as they have scars from repeated blisters. And when Christine died, she had 75% of her body in open wounds. And if you can imagine a cut finger that you have had where you put it in water, the feel of that, it stings and is very painful. Well, if you magnify that to a child's body and open wounds, I mean, it's just excruciatingly painful for these children. And that's really the worst of it. When Chuck was 17, I asked him what was the worst part of the disease, but he said, oh, if I could have a day without pain. With these children, you hope for some kind of a miracle cure, and I remember when Chuck was 7, we first met Dr. Bauer, who is the head of the medical school at Stanford. So he became kind of our line of hope, and he was for all of the EB families because he was the only person we knew who was really devoting his time to it. Doctors at Stanford are very enthusiastic about their progress. They're young, energetic, and very gifted people. With both of my children, they reached a point where it was too hard. They didn't want to live anymore, and in both instances, they died within 10 days to 2 weeks.
For children afflicted with EB today, hope is on the horizon. Scientists have discovered the defective genes for the 2 lethal forms of EB and are now working on a gene therapy program that can lead to a cure for this tragic disease. The EB Medical Research Foundation is remarkable in that all work is conducted on a volunteer basis. This means there are no salaries. Operating expenses are kept at a bare minimum, which means nearly all incoming gifts are directed in total to the medical research program.
We really feel that we're moving forward at the right time, in the right place, with the right facility, and we're just trying to make sure our team stays together, that our team works well together, and that we have enough strength and support for the team to keep it working. In 3 years, we hope to apply the correct therapy in our patients, and we as a team have made that conscious decision because we think we can do that.
We really do need help with this disease. It's something that can go away. We can make it go away, but money is the only thing that will do that.
Our ability to do research is based on our ability to be able to pay for it, and we can't do research without the funding.
I just can't wait till there's a cure, so there won't be any more pain, not just for me, but for everybody else.
And I used to say, it seemed just like a dream that we would ever find a cure. It just seemed out of reach. And we started getting closer, and I'd say, well, maybe if not in my generation, maybe at least for future generations. But now I think, why not now?
I couldn't agree more. Why not now? Why not support a team that can really make a difference? A cure is really within reach. The EB Foundation and Stanford scientists have a magnificent obsession to defeat this devastating disease within the next 3 years. I can't imagine a greater victory. Please be a part of it. You will never give to a more important cause.
Can you hear the prayer of the children on bended knee in the shadow of an unknown room? Empty eyes with no more tears to cry, turning heavenward toward the light. But if I should die before I wake, I pray my soul to take reaching hands with nothing to hold on to, but hope for a better day, a better day.
I think it's neat that other people care that haven't experienced EB, and I'm glad because we need people to care, even if they don't have to live with it. And I'm glad that there's hope for a cure in my lifetime, and I hope it's not found too late for me.